I'm actually going through the hiring process for Magic Ears right now. So I was wanting to talk to you about Magic Ears and your experience with them, and because I'm
You picked a really good time to talk to me about Magic Ears.
I have a knack for having incredible timing. So going through the hiring process, they seem very excited to have me join them, and they're very helpful, and they're in constant contact. I swear, I think I speak to somebody from Magic Ears almost every day. Have you done this yet? Are you are you ready to do this yet? Um, One of the things that they asked me is if I had a TESOL certificate or
Hmm.
not, and I didn't have one at the time. So I started looking into different options to get that. I The one I first started with was on Coursera. It's actually a program. They partnered with ASU, so
Hmm.
Arizona State University, and it's a wonderful program. There's 4 parts. You have part one, part two, then the capstone part one, and capstone part two. And what I found is that even though I was going through it as quickly as possible, your part one is supposed to take you 6 weeks to complete. Each week essentially took me about a day, working 5 to 8 hours, depending on what they have different assignments that you have to complete
Okay.
during each week. So depending on how long that assignment took, and then you also have to peer review other people's assignments, so that makes it take a little bit longer. But so yeah, what I found out was, for me personally, each week took about a day to finish. So, and then I think each one of these courses is supposed to take you 6 weeks to finish.
But you were investing 5 to 8 hours a
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you don't have kids.
yeah,
That
no,
wouldn't be realistic for
no.
most of us.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, but you can get through it. It is an excellent course if you want to do that. But, Magic Ear's chomping at the bit there because they're trying to get me as hired as quickly as possible, and they want me to do it in the same
Well,
day.
yeah, you're a VIP kid teacher. They've been trying diligently to steal all the VIP kid teachers since they
Yeah.
started. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they finally got me at least kind of hooked. They're still trying to reel me in. I'm not quite convinced though. I'll tell you that in just a second too.
Okay.
So then finally I just started looking into other TESOL certifications so it's something I could get done faster, because they're like, how come you're not done yet? There's teachers that get this done in like a day, and I'm like, well, where the heck is that certificate?
Yeah, the International Open Academy one through
Yeah,
Groupon. It's super quick. You can
yeah,
open 2 windows on your computer. You can look at the questions, find the answer to the question, punch it in. You can have it done in a day if you want to,
yeah,
in five
easily.
to 8 hours. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
it's
that's what I ended up finding
yeah,
too.
yeah.
So then I got that all squared away, and I was thinking, since I had the TESOL certification now, I have my experience teaching, I have my experience teaching with VIP Kid online, and then I also have my bachelor's degree. I thought that I was going to be able to get them to bump up the base pay before I even got hired, because I was thinking back to the when I got hired with VIP Kid, because I'm like,
Hmm.
still haven't gotten my first raise with VIP Kid. So I'm like, well,
Oh,
shoot, if I don't sign this contract with Magic Ears and like have that base pay already
hmm.
increased,
Yeah.
then now,
I started out at the highest base pay for Magic Airs, at the higher one. At the time, my qualifications were good, but now I think they've raised it, and I don't think it's just a bachelor's anymore. It's now a master's or something in education. Like, they changed it. They made it harder to attain. So,
they did make it harder. But see, my problem is it does say bachelor's or master's still. I
okay,
don't have my degree in education. That's my
okay,
problem. That's where
yeah,
I got hooked.
yeah.
And so I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, fine. You want to wait for me to get that? We'll see
Yeah,
what they say.
yeah, they're really good at changing things. Yeah, so that's one of the things that's changed. But yeah, and you're also supposed to get a raise every 6 months. That's the one thing they advertised. They actually changed that, and they didn't tell anyone. So there's no more raises every 6 months unless you are a senior or magic master.
Oh, that's not what they responded to me in my email.
Well, that is, yeah, now they changed it, but they haven't publicly announced it. But there's teachers whose contracts are coming to an end and they're going to resign, and then they're like, I didn't get my raise. Well, then they're not getting it because they're only junior teachers or they're benchmark or freshmen. So, unless you are a senior teacher or a magic master, you do not get a raise after 6 months anymore, which is another perk of initially going there. So,
Hmm. Well, that's unfortunate. So I guess they're probably thinking, oh, well, if we tell her this now, by the time her contract comes up, we can say that we changed the policy.
And that's what I'm finding out. That's how they operate, sadly. So I did not think it was that way at first. I really fell in love with them, but I've since changed my mind.
Okay, so what happened? What happened that made you change your mind?
Well, okay, so I have had several secondary positions with Magic Ears. The first two just ended with no notice for myself and all the other people. So if you are, a lot of people I know are checking out Magic Ears for the potential of secondary positions. If you're doing that, avoid it because there are none. There's very few secondary positions, and the ones they do have are unreliable. But with that being said, I was most recently an interviewer, and I've done several interviews, 10 to 15 a day. Always showed up for my interviews, did a great job with them, until I noticed there was a platform issue after Christmas. It was like the week after Christmas. And I emailed them, I WeChatted them, let them know it's showing up in my classrooms tab, but it's not showing up in my portal. Something's going on. I never got a response. And then I posted in the WeChat group for the interviewer saying, hey, is anyone else having a platform issue? And I got a response from someone who is very high up in the company saying that I was fired from interviewing because I no showed for 2 interviews. Well, he never told me that. And also, I mean, I know you're just gonna have to take my word for it, but I didn't no show for interviews. I have screenshots to prove that they weren't on my Google Sheets, they weren't on my schedule, like they weren't there. So, anyway, he fired me from that, and then basically they proceeded to charge me money for each one that I missed after he had fired me. And they did end up fixing that, but it took a good week and a half to 2 weeks before it was fixed. So I closed all my slots at Magic Ears, and after that experience, I just don't feel like I can really feel good about leading people to them anymore because I just feel like they're just very deceitful, and they're advertising certain things that aren't there, like the raise thing. If Yeah, you'll get a raise every 6 months if you're a senior teacher or a magic master, but you got to realize that that's only the top 25% of teachers in the whole company, which means that the other 75% aren't going to be that, you
Mm.
know and so I think since we're re-recording this, I already said this once, but I think the reason that that happened is because I had started closing slots there. I was teaching more at VIP Kid because it was Christmas time, like I said, and I was teaching more there because they pay twice a month. So for me at the time, I needed some extra money for Christmas, so I was teaching a little bit more there. And then also, I'm a senior teacher at Magic Ears. And I knew I was on the list to be a magic master. They actually take names and they sit down and they have a meeting about who becomes a magic master. And I was told by a couple other people that I was actually the same guy who fired me before I was fired told me himself that I was in the top 3 to be a magic master for the previous 4 months. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm in the top 3, what am I doing wrong? Like, let me know what I need to do to improve. And the response I got back was that I was not referring enough and I wasn't spending enough time on social media. So at that point, mind you, this was before I got fired from interviewing. At that point, I just stopped being present on social media at all because I was investing probably about 6 hours a day. That's my best guess, just between being on the Q&A group, helping people, and in the family group, helping people, and then personally helping people that were sending me private messages. Because people do that. If you're visible in the company, you're a senior teacher or magic master, people send you messages all the time. So I was always more than willing to help. And then also they said that I wasn't recruiting enough. Well, I'd have to count. I think there's 32 now, but referrals, 3 of them have made it past 40 classes because you don't get your referral money unless someone teaches 40 classes. The rest of them have quit before that. So obviously, a slew of people are figuring out that there's something they don't like about Magic Ears. It wasn't me until that experience. I had a great experience there, but I think they have a huge case of favoritism. And if you are one of the favorites, it feels phenomenal and you're a big part of the company. And if you're not, you're not. So anyway, that's what happened to me.
Geez, yeah, I've been kind of on the fence, but I think after this conversation, it's going to solidify my, okay, let's look at other companies.
Yeah, there's just so many other companies out there now. There's a lot of them recently I've been hearing of. AM Class, Protostar, Native. They're all up and coming companies that have, I mean, they all pay higher. And again, with Magic Ears, they offer higher pay. They advertise that they have this really high pay. But you got to keep in mind that they also have this really annoying ranking system. And if you're not at a high rank, if you're not a senior teacher or a Magic Master, that high pay is not really going to be so relevant to you because your bookings aren't going to fill. So you're going to have like a Swiss cheese schedule. So that really isn't like conducive to, especially like you said you teach online full time too. I do too. If you've got open slots, you're losing money.
Yeah.
The other thing is they make you show up 10 minutes early for your class, which they don't pay you for. So if you're not completely confident with the platform or comfortable doing that, then you've essentially got to close the class before your other class too if they don't book back to back. So you're really losing a lot of money in that aspect. And then most recently, they changed. It used to be if you open 60 slots at all throughout the course of the month, you'd get that extra dollar bonus. Well, now they've changed it to 60 peak time slots. And if you figure out how many slots are peak time slots in the month, you're like pretty much planning on dedicating all your PPT slots to Magic Ears for the month. And now that's where all your incentives come from other companies. So like if VIP Kids offering a better incentive or whoever you're with, then you really got to just plan on going there. So for me, I have to get my kids on the school bus for 1 hour during PPT time. So it's impossible for me to get that. So I lost $2 an hour, which was again another reason before Christmas that I had started dedicating more slots to VIP Kid because I couldn't lose that much money per hour just to be loyal to Magic Ears. I mean, we do this for a job. I've got to go where the money is.
Yeah.
So, and then they advertise for secondary positions, which I just kind of gave you a little scoop of what's going on. There's a whole lot more than that, but secondary positions are not reliable at all. And again, to get a secondary position, you have to be a senior teacher or a Magic Master. And a lot of people just aren't making that right now because they really demand a lot of free work in order to get that title, if that makes sense. You
Yeah.
have to be very visible on social media. If you ever notice YouTube videos like that Magic Ears posts on their channel or in the Q&A group, it's always the same 10 or 12 people that respond or comment. Those are the Magic Masters or the senior teachers that want to be Magic Masters. Where are the other 800 teachers?
Yeah.
Where are they? You know what I mean?
Don't know.
So,
Yeah.
no. So yeah, it just the things that they advertise I have found to not be true. And I just no longer in a good conscience can recommend them to anyone anymore. And I know when you initially asked me to do this interview, it was going to be about Magic Ears, and that's why I had to shoot you a message and be like, what's going on? So
Yeah, about that.
yeah, you're going to be the first person to have this information. So
Oh, awesome. Thank you for sharing it with me. I really appreciate it. It makes my decision that much easier.
well, I just think that people should know the truth because Magic Ears is really big on censoring everything on social media. And so you only ever see really positive, great things because they don't allow, if anyone who is actually working for them posts anything that's even leaning towards negative, they're going to get fired or they won't rank up or they're just going to be ghosted from the company. And it's happened to so many people. But they can't talk because otherwise they'll just lose their income.
Yeah.
So now you're also going to be the first one to know. You're not the first one because I've already done interviews. You are technically the sixth one, but I already know that I'm putting in my resignation after I get paid. And so I have started a YouTube, like a series interviewing people who went before me so that we can get a whole line of truth out there. So
That's awesome. That's great.
yeah, it's already in the works. The interviews are done. I'm in the process of editing them. My hope is just not to bash Magic Ears, but just to reveal the truth, because since they are so censored and since people are so scared to lose their income, no one's talking.
Yeah.
And I think that people, I mean, in this industry, we're running our own business. We're contractors.
Exactly.
We should be able to have access to the truth. It should not be covered up. If you're happy about the company that you're running and if you have a great company, teachers are going to talk about that. If you don't, then they're going to talk about that too.
Hmm.
But what are you so afraid of that you're just shutting? I don't know, like the family group, the official teachers group, everything has to be approved before it's posted. So teachers that work there can't even ask legit questions. They can get no answers. They cannot say anything because it won't get approved in the first place, but they'll get fired for it, or they won't rank up, or they'll lose their ranking. Or with a system that's based on rankings like that, it's an easy way for them to sort of blackmail you and say, you need
Hmm.
to do XYZ to get this. And if you don't do that, you won't get this. Or now we'll take this away because now you're not doing this. But by the way, you need to do this all for free. And it just, they're very unprofessional. And I don't think their system is sustainable. I don't foresee Magic Ears being around for the long term, but maybe they will be, because the company books, so you don't book, so the students don't build a relationship with their teachers. So maybe if they just keep new people coming in and cycling them through every 3 or 4 months, maybe they'll stay running. But that just doesn't seem real sustainable to me. But if that's how they want to do things, that's, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. If they want to work for the long term, they're going to have to change the way their company does things, because it seems like their policies, I mean, they need to live up to their policies.
Yeah, and they change on a whim too. Like I don't know, for example, I guess I went back and reread the contract. I guess the wording is loopy enough that it might work, but like, we're supposed to get paid by the 10th each month, and I've always been paid by the 6th or 7th of each month, always. Well, for Chinese New Year, they are the only company that's closing down for the entire week of Chinese New. Like, we need to spend time with our families. Okay, that's phenomenal. I really value the family thing, but they're not paying us either. Payroll is also shutting down.
Yeah.
So I understand China does not have a credit system like Americans do, and they don't have, bills that are due every month, but we do. And my bills are set up to come out on the 10th. So now you're not paying me. Now we get late fees, and it's just like stuff like that. Like, but then I read the contract and it says something like 10 working days or something. Like there's an extra
Oh.
break. So like it was like they almost knew that, but they didn't send out the email to let us know that until 2 days ago
Yeah,
about the
that's messed up. You would think if they're gonna plan that, they would know way in advance.
Well, and then
It's
they
something you should
yesterday
do.
yesterday they announced that they're doing a meetup in LA next week. Okay, so they have 11 staff members flying to LA for Chinese New Year, but your payroll department's not running. So we're not getting paid, but then you're going to do a meetup for, I don't know. And then I got, like, they're really good. I don't know if they actually changed now from their Skype quit working, which is, I've never heard of that happening ever. So now they're using some system called Ding Talk, which everyone's having issues with. But either way, before that happened, they had Skype, and their way to get in contact with you, and so they have an amazing cancellation policy. The way that they make that work is they need standby teachers like daily.
Hmm.
So if they don't have enough standby teachers, they're not afraid to reach out to you personally via Skype in the middle of the night, all the time. Yeah, so like even on Christmas Day, on New Year's Day, after I was up, all night, like I'm getting Skype messages. Can you please take standby class, standby class, and it just kind of like rubs me the wrong way, because I'm like, okay, now you're closing down for the entire week of Chinese New Year, for the entire, like, well, not the entire Spring Festival, but you're closing down for. But you couldn't even leave me alone to be with my family on Christmas Day, like.
Yeah. Oh no.
I don't know. Like maybe it's petty of me to feel like that, but that just really rubbed me the wrong way. Like don't Skype me on Christmas. I'm an
Yeah.
independent contractor. If I wanted to work, I would have opened classes. I have kids. I
Yeah.
want to be with my kids, you know?
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
as for the substitutes, do you get paid extra for that or no?
Well, see, that's the funny part is yes and no. For a standby class, you get an extra dollar if you end up teaching it, but if you don't end up teaching it, you only get $5. And you obviously can't teach a standby class if you're already booked for classes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that'd be the Swiss cheese schedule situation works out. If you're not working for another company, if you're not planning on this being your full-time income, then, I mean, sure, sign up to do a standby. Maybe you'll get it, maybe you don't. Either way, you're going to be ahead a little bit. But
Yeah.
for me, when I need to work every slot to make my, my planned income or whatever, I know what I need to work to make what I want to make. And if I have open slots or I take a chance on a standby that might not get booked for only $5, I'm losing money.
Hmm.
Where I could have been making $12, now I'm only making 5. That doesn't make much sense to me.
Yeah.
And
No.
even with the extra dollar, it doesn't count towards the peak time bonus. So you're still losing a dollar, essentially. That makes no sense. Like, but then they're all over Facebook, like, oh, our standby heroes, our standby heroes. Like the other supervisors and I are like, they've seriously coined this new term. We need standby heroes. It's always about the standby heroes. So the other we have like this little Facebook group. It's a group of friends, and we were all the ex supervisors who are still friends and still have a Facebook group we talk in, but or it's a messenger group, but either way, we've become friends. But we kind of joked about, we're like, what about the I signed up for work and I showed up to work on time heroes? How about that? Because you had so many standbys that people weren't calling in every day, but you have this lax policy. Like, I love that they've got that, because especially people with infants or people with chronic health conditions or something. But for someone like me, if I sign up for work, I'm going to show up to work.
Yeah.
Probably even if I am sick, because I sign up because I need money and I'm not going to not show. And especially, we're groomed at VIP Kid. We don't not show up because that
Yeah.
could cost
No,
us
that's
a
not
job.
an option.
That's not an option. So that's kind of my mentality. It's always been my mentality. I don't use that policy. It's great that it's there. Some people really, can use that for, like I said, chronic health conditions or newborn baby that you just never know what happens. The kids can get sick and stuff. But my kids are older, and like, if I'm going to be at work. So it just irritates me that they've constantly got that standby hero thing. It's like, yeah. Another thing that kind of rubs me the wrong way. There's so many of those little things, but
Yeah. All right. All right. Well, let's get out of that and talk about something else. I did have another question. So you mentioned that you actually like the Magic Ears platform better than the VIP Kid platform. Why is that?
Oh, it's fully interactive. The games are a lot of fun. Everything moves around. You can move your picture around, the kids' pictures around. It's a lot different. VIP Kid, we sit in the same spot.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's the new app or this one, we're here and we can't move. We can underline stuff on the slides. Even their interactive slides where you might be able to move a word or something, they're not really interactive. These slides literally, like, dance, sing, move around. They're playing a movie in front of the kids. You can put the kids in the scene. Like, that's
Yeah.
why it's super fun, and it makes it a lot of fun for them to learn.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even just taking my trial class that I did last night, I noticed that it's amazing how much more interactive. Like, I thought the VIP Kid interactive classes were cool, but then I saw the Magic Years one, and I'm like,
Yeah,
dang.
and now I've done Go-Go Kid. Go-Go Kid's even cooler, which I didn't imagine because I hadn't seen any of them besides, when I did my demo, which isn't really the same. That's just, an example of your. But now I've been teaching classes there. Their stuff is like even cooler. Like, they've got an actual whiteboard on there. They've got a laser. They've got a spinner thing you can use for games. You can write in any color. They've got all these different colors instead of just one color that's there. Everything plays like a little video scene. So, like, where you've got dialogue, it'll play it in different voices and stuff. So the kids actually watching it happen, and then they repeat it. And then there's games. Now you pick something and they have to actually click on the screen. And there's just so many cool things it does. I'm just blown away because I didn't see any of that on YouTube. It's not out. I mean, they obviously want to keep it a secret from their competitors, but hands down, Go-Go Kid has the best platform.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I mean, with all the updates that VIP Kid has done, but I mean, like I said, since that's been my only company that I've really worked for, I
Yeah.
had no idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's pretty cool. I might have to check out Go-Go Kid.
In this industry, it's not real reliable, and who knows? And now with all these up and coming companies, it's a risk to start with a new company because they're going to have kinks. They
Hmm.
all are. And the thing about VIP Kid, I can give them props for, is they've been around so long, they've worked out a lot of their kinks. So, I mean, some of their rules may seem unfair and we don't like them, but we know what to expect. We
Hmm.
come in, we do our jobs. They don't watch our classes and hound us and say, you looked like you were too tired or you weren't energetic enough, which Magic Ears does, by the way. So you you do your job. You teach the way you want to. You don't have to be a cookie cutter teacher. You don't have to teach a certain way. You just be you, and then parents book you. And if they don't like you, they don't book you again because they're
Mhm.
booking you. At Magic Ears, they are booking a
A
teacher
time
that
slot.
they want to be the same as every other teacher, and Magic Ears is trying to make cookie cutters, and they can't make humans cookie cutters. I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and then, yeah, I guess that's the other thing is that since I think I actually like the parents being able to choose.
Well, I didn't. A lot of people think that that's a really big perk to have the company book, but I don't think they think through that clearly. Like maybe those people that think that are people that aren't getting booked at VIP Kid or aren't getting booked at GoGo Kid. Um, so they think it'll be a great thing that the company is booking, but they aren't thinking about the fact that the percentage of bookings you get is based on your ranking, and you start out at the lowest rank. It took me like 3 weeks to teach my first 10 classes at Magic Ears.
Yeah.
Um, and you got to have those slots open. So you're going to lose money to make it's making an investment to get established there, like it is at any company. But the company booking isn't necessarily good because the other thing is, like, you have no reason to really care about what your feedback is. You're never gonna see these kids again. You don't care that they're gonna rebook you or not. So you just type your minimum 3 sentences and on your way, because honestly, when you're teaching 4 kids at a time and you have 6 or 8 classes back to back, you don't remember who Bao Bao is anyway.
Yeah.
So you're
No.
just going to type something random. Well, now lately they've been sending out emails. Please give more personalized feedback. Yeah, okay, why? Because
Yeah.
they're not rebooking me. I'm still going to be working. Like, yeah. So
Yeah. They don't understand that. Well, and
there's
that's the other.
downfalls. Yeah, there's downfalls to the company booking because then they're in control of your schedule too.
Yeah,
So you
exactly. So it's
make them mad and you might not be fully booked the next day. And that's how Magic Ears works.
well, and that's the bad part about it too, is that you may not know that you've upset them, and then you'll
Yeah.
just all of a sudden you'll be like, well, what the
Yeah,
heck happened
you're
to my
fired. You
schedule?
missed 2 interviews that you really didn't miss, but we're gonna say you did, make you look. And then, oh, I didn't even tell you this part. So after I messaged privately after that, and I said that was really unprofessional of you to post that publicly. I have messaged you. That's not true. Like, so then he's like, I'm so sorry you're sad about that, but it's okay because if you open more slots, then you'll be Magic Master soon. You'll make more money that way. I have the message. I'm
Oh,
like dumbfounded. Okay, so you basically just told me you did that because I wasn't opening enough slots. So you want me to open more slots, be more active on social media, and refer more so I can be Magic Master to be an ambassador of the company after you just fired me from where I make the most money? I'm
yeah.
only here for secondary positions. You just took away my third secondary position, and I didn't even do anything to deserve it.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So it's petty and it's unprofessional, and that just yeah no. So yeah,
Yeah,
I don't really like the idea of the company booking me, but
yeah.
I've never been one to have a problem with getting booked either. So I guess
Yeah.
I can see both sides of that. But
Yeah. Well, I think it's a lot easier for you because I mean, once you actually have a student in your classroom, you can see whether or not there's that connection, and you can usually tell if it's going off in the wrong direction, and you can correct.
yeah,
You can save it. You have
yeah.
an opportunity to create that relationship. So it's up
Yeah.
to you. So
Well,
I think
and the thing with Magic is you can't create a relationship anyway because you've got
mm-mm.
4 kids and it goes by so fast you can't hardly blink and the class is over. And for a little while there, I loved that because I was like, it's going by so fast. This is great. But it also takes so much more energy to teach those classes that I can't teach 10 or 15 classes in a row like I can at VIP Kid. You
Mhm.
can't drink in class, so you can't have your coffee. You can't. They did change. You can have water if it's in a clear bottle now, but my voice was shot all the time. It
Mhm.
took me a while to figure out it was because of Magic Airs that I was feeling sick all the time, but it was. It was so much energy because there's 4 kids and the platform. Like I've never had a platform that I had so much trouble with on timing, and that's one of their bottom lines. So if you don't nail the timing, they won't book you either. That'll be the reason you don't get ranked up, or you'll get your account suspended, which has happened to numerous people. They'll just stop your classes. They'll just take them off your schedule because you can't get timing right.
Oh, geez.
But they're level 2 classes, level 2, same as VIP Kid level 2. They've got dialogue in there where the kids have to talk to each other. It's a role play twice in a level 2 class.
Well, okay.
along with all of the other content, and then they wonder why people can't finish it.
Yeah.
Well, you have till 28 minutes or they automatically pull your next class away.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, think about that. Like the other levels I don't have an issue with, but their level twos are screwed up. I've never had an issue at VIP Kid, and Go Go Kid is even smoother. Like I told you, I'm brand new. I've only been teaching there 4 days. I have been ending class at 25:02 every time. Their platform is just set up so perfectly that the timing is on point. Magic Ears, I am like, "Ugh, there is no way." And I seriously, you'd close the camera and you've got, only that couple seconds before your next class, and I'd be like, oh, I'm not even kidding. Like,
Yeah.
I swear, every time, like, and then go, 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 and then hello, because they want the most passionate teachers out there, which is what they say, but that equates to energy, and you just look ridiculous. You're just like,
Yeah.
and which I kind of naturally teach that way, so it's
Yeah.
okay. But some people are like real laid back and chill, and that doesn't work. And Magic Ears will suspend your account if you're not the way they want you to be. So, yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Jeez.
This didn't mean to turn into a Magic Ears rant. That wasn't even.
No, it's all good. And you actually reminded me, because when I was teaching my trial class last night, that was one of the things that was like a wait, what the heck? Because I did have two kids in my class, but to me, one of them should have been level 1 with VIP Kid. The other one should have been like maybe a upper level 2 or level 3. I
Every
was like,
class.
what the?
Every class at Magic Ears, but usually you have four. One time, I had a 1-year-old still in a diaper with a 9-year-old, same class. I'm like, how am I supposed to cater to this and this? This kid can't even speak Chinese yet and is in an English class. And this kid, I could extend for days.
Yeah.
But I can't do that with a 1-year-old in the class because the 1-year-old can't even understand anything I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that happens all the time. And then the kicker is your rankings are also based on your ratings. And bad parent ratings there are not like I have five stars or 5 apples for I've only ever had 3 bad ratings at VIP Kid, and they were all overturned. I've never had a bad
Yep.
rating, right?
Me too.
Magic Gears, you get bad ratings every day. Like the longest I've ever went was a 5-day stretch without a lower than a 4 star ever.
Wow.
And they count towards your ranking. So, you need 5 stars to rank up. But if you aren't getting them, there's also, since they took away supervision, there's no way, no one looks at it. They say they do, but they don't. And then they don't overturn it. It's still on your thing and it counts towards your rankings. Well, tell me how that's your fault if you've got such a mismatched class. How are you going to get 5 stars from both of those parents?
Yeah,
Because
there's no
you can't
way.
cater to this kid and you can't cater to this kid at the same time in the same class. And having 2 of them, you might have a shot in the dark. Try 4.
Yeah, well, okay, but that doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you not keep at least have 4 kids all on the same freaking level?
Yeah, they're supposed to be, but they're not. Like that happens all the time.
Okay, yeah, now that I know that that's the way it is for all of them, there's no way in hell I'm signing that contract.
Like every single class isn't like
I
that.
I thought maybe they were testing me, but that's ridiculous. And then
No,
they gave
that's
me
pretty close.
39 slides for
Yeah.
25 minutes
So that was
with a,
probably a level 2 class.
with a kid that I can't even get to repeat one word, and then the other one I can't get to stop asking me how old I am.
Yep. Welcome to Magic Years.
Like, what the heck? So it's like I can't have them do the little conversation together because one can't say anything and the other is just reading everything.
Yeah, I really don't think that kids learn anything from the Magic Years curriculum because Magic Years has it set up so you literally say something and they repeat it. They
Yeah.
aren't actually reading, they're repeating after you. And they're real big on corrections. You got to correct every little thing. But a lot of times, because of classes like that, you'll have a Bao that's like, can't say hello, let alone, whatever the curriculum says to say. And then you can't possibly correct them that long. Your timing is going to be shot. And if your timing's shot, you lose your next class or your account gets suspended. Or it's just like there's always something. There's always I can only correct to a certain point. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because then I gotta move on because you have a minute per slide, or in your case, you 39 slides. It was probably more because you probably had a game that had faster slides. But it just, yeah, it's absurd. They don't
Yeah,
get
well, and
they
that
cannot get anything out of those classes. They cannot retain any of that information. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, I think maybe occasionally, I mean, finally I got the little girl to repeat apple. You should have seen me. I was thrilled when she said something in English.
You're like, apple.
Yeah, I'm like, I will get you to repeat one thing.
And they finally do, and you're like, yeah! And then you
Yeah,
know,
I'm like, I have just scored. I just won the lottery.
yes!
Yes,
So excited.
exactly. Oh my goodness.
I
Oh.
know. Yeah, that's fun. So you taught your actual trial class. I was thinking you had your interview, but you actually had your trial, so you're in already, basically.
Yeah, well, I haven't signed anything. I'm definitely not signing
Okay.
now after our conversation today. So thank you for saving me. I appreciate
Sorry.
it. No, no, I'm totally 100% grateful.
I just like I want people to make their own decisions, but I also, like I said at the beginning that I think wasn't recorded. I want the truth to be out there for crying out loud. Because I mean, you can find I Quit VIP Kid videos everywhere.
Oh
And you
yeah.
take it with a grain of salt. Like, okay, this person quit for this reason, but this person loves it for this reason, and that should be available to the public, and you make your own educated decision. With Magic Years, you cannot find that. And the people that do have, for lack of a better term, the balls enough to like post something, they're getting hounded by Magic Ears to take it down. And
That's
then,
not right.
or Magic Ears will go and make up lies about them and say, "No, this is what really happened. That person's just full of it, or whatever. We're great. We're unicorns and rainbows." But you got to ask yourself, why are there no more videos? Because you know darn well more people have left there than 5. Why is there nothing out there? What are they afraid of? Like, where's the truth?
Yeah, exactly. And that's,
Uh,
I mean, I knew there was something. There was something that was telling me that I was just like, I'm not so sure about it. That's why I reached out to you. I was just like, I need to ask more information. I need to ask
that's
more
what
questions.
that's how I was when I started, because I saw videos of people who went. The ones that are on YouTube were ones that posted those right when I started or right before I started. And they're also people that are very big at VIP Kid or were, and so I knew them. I'm in other Facebook groups with them and stuff. So my eyes were wide open.
Mhm.
But like I said, as I went in, I proceeded lightly, but then I was given secondary positions and I ranked up quickly, and none of the things people were saying seemed to be true to me
Mhm.
until what happened recently. So, I made it 8 months. So if you want to give it a go for 8 months and see how far you can climb,
No, it's okay. I think those classes will exhaust me.
they do.
I'll be so frustrated with the fact that I
They
have different levels.
They
And
are so exhausting, beyond exhausting. Like I got to the point at the end where I was just dreading going to class. And I don't want to feel like that because I
yeah.
really love this job. Like I
Yeah.
I love it. And I went through a phase because at first I was like, "Oh, I love Magic Year so much more because it goes by so much faster. It's so much more fun. The platform's great." Yeah, and I kind of dread going to VIP Kid now. And so I was working all at Magic Gears until I figured out that I was getting sick because of Magic Gears, because I was losing all this stuff. And I figured out it's because I'm exerting so much energy and I'm not drinking water and I don't get breaks. I don't even have time to go to the bathroom with Magic Gears classes because you're lucky to get done by 28 minutes.
Oh jeez.
Um, and then you gotta jump right to your next class so you don't lose it. So then I figured that out, and so I started throwing in a couple VIP Kid classes just for a break, and
Mhm.
I missed my regulars because you don't build any relationships at Magic Years. You don't know the kids. You're never gonna see them again, or it's like
Yeah.
rare. I mean, you might, but um, yeah. And so then I was like, I just like VIP Kids so much better. I miss my coffee. I miss being able to be done at 25 minutes and being able to do feedback between classes. That's another
Mhm.
thing.
Oh yeah, I
Imagine
love that.
feedback. Imagine feedback for 4 kids after a stretch of 6 or 8 classes. Unpaid. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
She's like,
There's no way. Well, and that's one of my big things is that I've been trying to figure out how to ways to streamline my feedback because I want to be able to do it. I end class on time. I might go a few seconds over depending on the kid. I might go a minute or two over if I really like them. But yeah, I get that feedback done as quickly as possible.
me too. I do notes. I don't know if this will help you. I don't know what you do, but I have basically my own feedback panda
Yes.
done. So if it's one of my regulars, I'm writing specific feedback because it's going to be like a paragraph and it's specific to them. And, on top of that, my favorite regulars I have on WeChat. But, the others, that's specific. But for kids I just meet, or like now, because I do all short notice, I get a lot of trial classes. And when I do trial classes, it's already done. So it was great meeting. So all I have to do is punch in the name. It's already written. And
Nice.
it's good, so I just it's right there on my notes and I just cut and paste and it's done. And I love when I'm done that I can just shut the computer down and be done. I don't have another hour of work.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yes, I'm with you. You can't do that at Magic Ears. Magic Ears has, groups. Magic Ears solely, like if you worked for Magic Ears, you're going to have WeChat if you move up in the company because that's their only way of communication is Facebook and WeChat. They don't send emails. They have no company newsletter. They don't care if you miss an announcement. They told you that was all that mattered.
Oh, geez.
The communication is terrible there. So here's my little there's the little
Oh
thumbnail.
my gosh, that's
Okay.
awesome.
So I have that done, and all the interviews are done, but it's a matter of editing them. I think I might have to do like a part 1 and a part 2 for each one because there's just so much content, and like I'm trying to go through it, and I seriously can't edit it. Like it's because it's all good, and then I'm like, well, I could use that for this video, or I thought about just taking like. I have 15 questions that I asked all of them. So I thought about maybe taking like the last 2 questions and putting all the girls in one video, like on a separate. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but Magic Airs, it gives you free shirt when you get hired. And all the time when they do competitions, they give you free shirts. Well, I won the Moscars, the last round of Moscars. I won 2 t-shirts. I never ordered them because I just didn't need any more Magic Ears. I don't want any more Magic Ears t-shirts. I finally ordered them. I should show you what they look like. I should do a review video on on YouTube and show people what Magic Ears bought for me. There's one of them. And there's the other one.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
And they paid for them.
That's great.
And that was kind of my like, take that Magic Ears. That's what you get.
So they have no idea that that's what they paid for?
No, they can't see they can't see what you printed, but they pay for the shirts.
That is great.
I just was like, I don't need any more Magic Ear shirts. So either I'm going to order them and give them away on YouTube when I do this series, right?
Yeah.
So I could give them away, or I could just print myself some Go-Go Kid shirts because I'm going to need those anyway, and I don't have one yet. So
There you go. That's awesome. Oh my God. Too funny.
anyway, yeah,
I love
so
it.
now you have the scoop and you have an inside scoop.
Okay, well, today was wonderful. Thank you so much. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. See you later.